Welcome to thestockminer.com. I'm Brian Johnson, and another push today, slowly to the upside, and then right at the end of the day we saw a big dive. I'm sure you're going to get some people that are going to be like, oh, that's it, that was a big push, huge, lots of volume. Yeah, well, you know what? Let's just, now that the markets are closed, take a deep breath, let's count to 10, and recognize that nothing's broken from a bull side. And this is precisely what I say, or have told you guys, happens. We get any kind of a down move after we grind up and up and up and up, and all of a sudden it's panic in the streets. Everybody wants to get bearish. Now, yes, strong move at the end of the day, big volume coming in. I'm with you. Okay, I get it. However, once again, bigger picture showing us nothing. All we saw here was similar to what we saw here. 1150 big red candle didn't mean anything. Okay, now we get another, not even as large as this candle was here, just another move coming right back down, but never even touches the 20 period moving average. So there's nothing broken up here at all. Even the low back in this area was 11,585. Not even quite this 11,580 overhead that we've been talking about or been working on here for a while. We saw the break. You guys could have jumped in, made whatever at 20, 30 points, great. But you can see that it's very, very tired up here. So for me, to the long side, just nothing I'm really interested in right now, unless it's from a future standpoint. But you can see why. End of the day, we saw the big move down. Will we get confirmation tomorrow? I don't know. All they've really done is cleared some room to actually push this thing even a little bit higher if it wants to continue that into tomorrow. Looking at the daily, you can see, yeah, I mean, sure, we could call this a topping candle, but it's nothing right now, really. I mean, we've seen all kinds of candles. Look at this one here that came up, touched this overhead, and came all the way back down. This one looked, much stronger, as a much stronger reversal candle than this one up here. It meant nothing. This really means nothing to me today. I don't care what the candle looks like or what exactly happened. Looking for confirmation, looking for breaks below these levels before we really start to take anything out from the bulls themselves. So far, move is up, trend is up. Trend is still, while it's slow, still relatively strong. NASDAQ 60-minute, this was kind of the caveat of the day. It's stuck in a big trading range here. See how it hasn't been moving much? It doesn't mean anything. We haven't broken this lower area of the 2200. We haven't broken this 2240 area. You can see that it wandered around again today, staying within this trading range. Let me remind you, up, sideways, up, sideways, up, and sideways. So the trading range is only extended, but it's the same type of premise. Moves up that go sideways continue to the upside, and that's what we've been seeing here. Until these lower areas are broke, whatever for the bears. They're going to have to prove it to me at this point. From a daily, same type of a thing. Small, tiny little candles coming up here. Waiting for the next push. Is it above 2240? Or is I really down to the short side? You can try something below the 20-day if you'd like, but watch then the 2200 mark on the Nasdaq. For those of you that are new to the videos, I'm not big on shorting the Nasdaq. There's definitely better things to be shorting than the Nasdaq itself. However, if you enjoy playing the Qs, great. If you are already short the Qs, then fine. What you're waiting for just breaks above here, which would mean a little bit more bullishness left in the markets, or breaks back down below here. Then maybe we have something to talk about from a bear standpoint. Weekly doing the same thing. Look at these. Okay, now we're halfway through the week. Couple days left. Let's see if we wander our way around into the end of the week. Overall, not much participation this week. Little teeny tiny candles on the Nasdaq the last 2 weeks, and it looks like we could see the same thing again this week. Couple days left. Let's let it close and find out where we're at that point. SPX 60-minute. Here's that big red candle at the end of the day, but big deal. Only coming back to this 1259 area and not even reaching the 20 period moving average. Still a ton of support below us at this point, and nothing broken. Nothing broken from the bull side whatsoever. I really want to see pushes back below these areas before we start talking more about the bigger pullback. And that's going to have to be somewhere below 1245 or 1240 before we start talking about that. Daily as well, very extended, but yet trend is still up. Move is still up. Nothing has changed here. We haven't even come back to retest this 20-day moving average, so it will eventually. definitely going to come back and do this. Will it happen tomorrow by the end of the week? Sure. Will it happen in 3 weeks? You bet. It's anybody's guess. All we're doing here is waiting for these breaks. I love that 1245, 1240-ish area to start looking at a more major short for you guys that are looking to get in. Just keep in mind that move we saw at the end of the day, nothing's broken. Nothing's broken. It just cleared a little bit more room to the upside. Even on a weekly look, it was barely a hiccup on the weekly candle. Tiny, tiny little wick at the very top of this candle, but you can tell it really didn't make much of a difference whatsoever. Point is, still moving to the upside. VIX on a daily as well. Guess what? It was down. Market's up. That's what we've seen. Move up in the VIX, move up in the VIX, move flat or up in the markets, get that divergence, and then guess what? It just makes more room to the downside for the VIX. So the VIX has been moving down, the markets continue to move up. We're not seeing any kind of confirmation. I do think there's some jockeying going on at the end of the year, end of the month, portfolios, all this other stuff going on. So the VIX might be a little volatile over the next couple days, but I'm really, up until we start January, going to kind of ignore the VIX and its potential for a direction. How about that? Its directional potential. How about let's just say that. So until we get into January, the VIX for me is just going to be, yeah, we'll watch and wait and see. And if we get back into these areas, okay, maybe we got something to talk about. But we need confirmation. As the VIX moves up, we need to see the markets move down. Otherwise, doesn't really mean a whole lot to me. Same thing from the weekly, coming back to retest this blue line I mentioned. Will we see it hold this blue line? Well, let's give it a couple more days and see exactly where we finish by the end of all of it. Apple 60-minute was down 18 cents, went nowhere. I mean, basically a flat line all day long on Apple. Not a whole lot going on. This thing moved about $1 all day long, which is, a burp for Apple. At any given time, it can move $1 in no time. The daily still hanging out, still hanging strong, hasn't come back to retest the 20, and hasn't come back to break any of these lower areas like 320. So no reason to be anything but still neutral now. I'm going to go a little bit more neutral on the Apple trades. Be very, very cautious with any kind of trading on Apple because there hasn't been a lot of movement. It looks like it wants to base and set up for one more push higher at this point. Just looking big term, gut feeling at this point. Wait until this weekly candle closes and we'll see where we're at. Looks like we may be in a same type of a scenario where we're going to put in a little teeny tiny black candle as we've been seeing on the NASDAQ, where it's just not moving anywhere. Consolidation's happening, but these consolidations have always bled up. Consolidations have bled up. We're into another one. Why not? As long as the bulls can hold it up here, gotta give my bias to the bulls overall. Just be very, very cautious. FAS, same thing, flat line today, went nowhere. So no breaks above these blue lines. Certainly no breaks to the downside, giving us nothing to go off of from a daily, except this is just what looks to be another high base consolidation type of a look. Till we get back below 27, I gotta be more neutral to bullish on the FAS up here. So watch for continued pushes to the upside above 2850-ish or so. That might give you some more opportunity to trade this thing before we start to see a little larger pullback in the markets. FAZ on the 60-minute. Same type of thing, bleeding nothing but sideways all day long. High of 945, low of 933, 12 cents. Okay, if you want to try and play that, more power to you. Nothing to really do within these at all today, and you can see it's reflected as well here, but as long as it holds down here, it's still more neutral to bearish. So they both look the same from the standpoint of this still looks like it could potentially drop some more. FAS looks like it could go up some more until these levels get broke, 10 and 1050 on this mark for me. I'm not interested necessarily in any kind of a long position in the FAZ right now. I think there's better times. I think there's potentials for better opportunities to get into this thing, and right now isn't it. All right, that'll wrap it up for today. So moves up with a sharp move down at the end of the day. You can see the markets are in a quandary right here. Very difficult to play them, very hard to go long or short within the indices themselves. Stick with your individual stocks. Play them one way or the other. They are giving you the best opportunities for trades right now, whereas the ETFs in the indices are not. And we'll be back with you again, as always, tomorrow.